War, switched over the latest, I would say, out of all SKT players to switch. Did StarCraft 2 full time. He's 3-5 all time, and he's never played a TBT yet this season.
This guy, four losses recently, excuse me, and no TBTs played. Definitely on the downward streak here as he does get that purple arrow. He's got to bring this win in actually for SKT, because if they go down 2-0 to Prime, it's not going to be pretty for them. I feel like it could definitely be bust even more wide open with this one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, here's MarineKing. Let's take a look at his stats in the Terran versus Terran matchup. He's played 2 games, actually, so he's got a bit more experience in Pro League for that. He's played a lot more Terran versus Terran in StarCraft 2 in his career. He was playing in the days of TBT, GOM TBT as they called it, and he's played a lot of Terran versus Terran. So very well versed in the matchup for a historical standpoint in StarCraft 2. But he's up against a really strong TBT player from StarCraft 1 who has more results than him in individual leagues and in Pro Leagues so far, arguably. You know, he's played a lot of games recently in the GSL, even though he never got into Code S. This is a cool matchup. Definitely one that could go either way. And it looks like we're about to get things started. The map is merry-go-round. Let's jump into game number 2, SKT versus Prime.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top right in the red for SK Telecom, T1. It is FanTaSy.
And his opponent for Prime, who's up in the series 1-0 right now, is the King of Marines, MarineKing Prime. A bunch of people behind us are moving some things on the stage. I'm like, oh, this is going to fall on my head, right? Like,
Oh, God. Like,
Hopefully they removed everything like that.
I was thinking about that yesterday. Like, the players that had to play after Gumio were probably like, oh, God, no. Or actually, was that the last game?
No,
That
it was.
No, that was
the last game for that series.
Yeah.
But there was a series that occurred after that.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the players in the booth. They're probably like, oh, God, I hope something doesn't fall on my head, too. Like,
The map, merry-go-round. We're seeing a lot of Terrans on this map. A lot of Terrans choosing this map to play on.
Yeah.
I actually really like this map for Terran. Very nice and open. Ooh, we got our statistics.
Yeah, we got our stat sheets coming over here.
Nice. And we're seeing another gas first from the SK Telecom player, FanTaSy.
Yeah.
So we're going to see some aggression early on. I think this is a great map for aggression, a great map for Reapers. There is definitely some ramps to jump up, and Hellions early.
Yeah, Hellions, I think, are really a great choice for this map early on. Get a lot of scouting information that way. Sometimes if you're lucky, get a lot of kills at the natural if your opponent's being greedy.
Yeah, very open natural, kind of open natural, very open map in general.
Yeah, MarineKing known to be greedy as well in all matchups.
Oh, he loves his CC first, but not today. Looks like it's going to be kind of like a standard Reaper opening for MarineKing today.
Yeah.
I like it, especially on the map. You know, it's a 3-player map. You want to get the scouting down. You don't want to just go, you know, CC first on a map where we've seen a lot of aggression. You just, I like the safety out of MarineKing here.
So we'll see how this one plays out. There's also a high chance we'll see Banshees out of FanTaSy. You know, with or without Cloak, just get some early kills, get some aggression off, trade some of those Marines down. You know, the King of Marines not as powerful if his Marines start getting picked off by Banshees early on.
That's right.
So there's the factory, and as you guys mentioned, it is a standard Reaper expand. For MarineKing, he's going to first identify his opponent's position, and then see the gas timings, etc.
Yeah. Fortunately for him, he is going in the wrong direction, as our observer just did point out. And with this first Reaper, he's going to go right into the CC first, of course. Yeah. Not first, but
yeah,
quickly
and
after.
He took 2 SCVs off the gas, so he's going to go one SCV mining gas. So it looks like he's going for kind of like a pretty greedy build.
Oh God, with the reactor, yeah, that's really that's a greedy way to start your Marine production, but it leaves you a bit open in the early game, you know, to things like Hellions or even Banshees. You're not going to have that Marine count the way you'd like it to be. And he's not going to have a bunker at the front either. Wow, look at this, a rushed E-base. So he's like pretty careful about the Banshees.
Looks like he definitely has done his research for FanTaSy, that's for sure.
Yeah. No tech lab on that factory just yet. Looks like he just barely got enough money for it, so now he starts it. And it looks like we are going to see Banshees out of FanTaSy. The MarineKing's Reaper gets caught. Oh, no.
Shut down. So he's not going to have any idea what's going on. He didn't even know if there's going to be a command center or anything. He didn't get any vision whatsoever.
That's a great play out of FanTaSy, honestly. He puts those Marines right in the position where he knows that Reaper is going to jump up, because on this map, you can't jump straight into the main base, so you got to go up there first. And he just keeps those Marines right in position, grabs that Reaper.
Now, what's really interesting to note right now, more so than the fact that he got the eBay early for possible turrets, looks like this was actually part of his build all along, which surprised me because he pulled out a gas, like you mentioned earlier, Moonglade, to get the faster CC. So I was thinking, okay, he wants more minerals in general. But he put back in gas. Now has enough money to rush out a +1. I mean, he's starting +1 around like the 5-minute mark. This is going to be really fast, which means he's always going to have this huge upgrade advantage on his opponent. It looks like FanTaSy on the other side of things will be meching, but a lot of Marines at +1 early on can beat a small number of mech units, and especially when Stim or Combat Shields comes out, they've got a lot of extra power there.
Yeah, especially if there's going to be no tanks on the map for sure. And we could see some really aggressive play with drops, or just a bust through the front. And I mean, if there's no tanks ready, sieged up, it could be a very easy push.
That was an awesome scan in the main base, by the way, I have to say. He sees the Raven pop out of that starport. He sees every tech building there. Perfect scan out of MarineKing.
MarineKing scans and FanTaSy's like trying everything to hide. He's like hiding behind the curtain with his shoes showing. He like starts cloak, then cancels it, and the Raven comes out and he switches. I'm like, yeah, this is no secret, FanTaSy. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the very least, that scan was forced out by FanTaSy by denying that Reaper.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So he does lose a bit of extra mineral mining because he has to use a scan. But it was well timed. And MarineKing, man, he's actually getting a bunch of Marauders out. I think he's actually going to hit with Stim, Medivacs, maybe 1-1, and try to attack. Maybe even directly.
This could do very.
It's looking like it.
This could do some work, but there is a siege tank out, which will definitely keep FanTaSy safe from the front. But if there's going to be a drop at all, which we do see a starport and a reactor going down now, there could be a really brutal, maybe like 2 Medivac timing drop in the main base.
Yeah, definitely.
We're seeing Stim come out of FanTaSy right now, even before MarineKing gets his. So he's actually going to switch out of what looked like mech and back into bio.
Yeah, definitely so. Adding additional barracks as well. When you see a Raven rushed out like that, it can make you think, that somebody is going mech, and MarineKing may also be thinking that as well with this. Going, oh, okay, you're probably going mech. You got the Raven out. I don't see any additional barracks that you've added. He wasn't researching Stim at the time or anything like that. Scan goes down here, and FanTaSy's probably like a little bit confused. Like, oh, okay, this is bio, like straight up, old school.
Very, very interesting, very aggressive play, and we'll definitely be looking out for the front of his natural for sure. Seeing that the starport only just finished, I mean, there's no Medivacs just yet, but he's going to have to be very careful. And
that Widowmine even is going to help out in the defense.
Yeah. Ooh, see a scan.
Wow, he's even going to pick off the Marine, or pick off the Widowmine.
He gets the Widowmine, backs off, only takes 1 shot from that siege tank, and once those Medivacs get over, they can heal it right up, and he can actually drop straight into the main base if he wants to.
The 1-1 upgrades are key here, because without those, he wouldn't be able to fight FanTaSy's army straight up because of that defender's advantage with the siege tanks especially. But with the 1-1 upgrades, he can drop on top of enemy Marines and then trade like that.
There is 1 siege tank in the main base, which could do some work defending, but I don't know, if MarineKing gets a good drop on it, gets a good position on it, he could definitely do a lot of damage. And here we go, there's 2 drops into the main base.
Yeah, here they come. What he wants to do is be able to hit those siege tanks with his Marauders if he can. He doesn't know exactly where everything's located, but he's expecting the siege tanks would be at the back. Comes around here at the right side, is able to pick off an SCV, but not much else. Gets a second one, a third one here, but he's kind of stuck in a rough place where he can't really go much further. At least maybe he can pick off some of these external satellite structures over here on the right side.
Well, you know, he gets the gas and he gets 2 depots. It's going to severely supply block FanTaSy for a while here. Oh my god, big Stim out of FanTaSy!
Oh, he picks it off!
Oh boy, that's a big hit.
Very nicely done. Definitely brings him back from taking a fair amount of damage. But the one thing that MarineKing has going for him is that he is so far ahead in upgrades.
Yeah.
+1 only halfway done for FanTaSy right now, so he's going to have to be very careful with these Marine fights. But as long as he keeps making tanks with them, he should be fine. As long as it's very positional based from there, and we're going to see like a kind of like a counter drop going on into the natural.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get too much done considering MarineKing's taken a big step back here. But he's going for an attempt here. He wants to get something done. And notice MarineKing's not only finished his armory to start +2 attack, but he's got double eBays up now, so he's getting 2 upgrades at once. Just barely moves out at the worst possible moment though. Let's see how much damage FanTaSy can get done here.
Oh, getting a couple of SCVs, but he's going to be pushed back pretty quickly. So a bit of harassment kind of opens up the map for FanTaSy. But, I mean, FanTaSy has to play pretty defensive with this deficit in upgrades.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge. I mean, everything you guys were saying before, he's now just getting his +1 to attack only. And now MarineKing here is at almost halfway for 2-2. And he's starting to make his own tanks, starting to get more barracks himself. He has a lot more SCVs, as you guys saw before. FanTaSy is starting to pick that up a little bit now, as MarineKing has stopped that for a little bit here to try to get his army bigger. But MarineKing's army size is getting much, much bigger as well.
You know, I think if FanTaSy identifies this, he needs to keep making more siege tanks. Because if he can keep a better siege tank count, maybe that's the way he nullifies the upgrades.
That's absolutely right.
You know, I don't know if he really realizes the situation he's in upgrade-wise. He's going to take this fight, but actually MarineKing might even be able to win it with the upgrade advantage he has right now. And yeah, he's like chasing this down. He's going to be able to isolate and kill these Marines easily with the upgrade advantage he has. He's going to save the siege tank. And nice move over here, though. FanTaSy cancels a CC. That third base is significantly delayed now.
Yep. Drop going to go into the third base as well. Could actually go for that engineering bay. Has to be careful here. Even pulls his SCVs. He knows how important that is right now. He has to defend this drop right now.
Yeah, I think it's worth it to lose a few SCVs here just to ensure that he doesn't lose his eBay. Absolutely worth it. It hurts, but you know, losing that eBay would have been losing his main advantage here. And now he's going to have to force a cancel, or you know, have to use a cancel here on his CC. Wait until the last second here. He's actually trying to keep it alive with the SCV in the meta bag. Actually, you know what? He saves it. Wow. A
little save there. I mean, I think it's very important to delay that third CC as much as possible. As FanTaSy's kind of cooped up in his base, not really able to move out at all. And FanTaSy does know that there are two eBays. So he knows where he is with upgrades. And I mean, 2-2 was just finished for MarineKing. So it's looking pretty bad if FanTaSy takes a fight anytime soon. He's got to be very careful.
Oh yeah, he's a full set of upgrades ahead. In fact, 3 upgrades ahead for a few more seconds here. And 3-3 is already started for MarineKing.
Oh my God.
Style tube drop into the main base. Here we go. He's got so many medevacs here. There are some siege tanks. Will the upgrade advantage be enough? That's the question. It starts to look like maybe he's got one tank in here as well.
It's looking so close right now, but actually MarineKing loses a ton here. He has to back out, but he has so many reinforcements coming across the map. He also has that third base up right now. It's about to finish there. He's going to drop once again, actually. He's going for this.
Yep, going in here to the medevacs now, trying to drop on top of the siege tanks, get a good angle this time. The siege tanks of FanTaSy not sieged up in time, so his Bioforce is getting ripped to shreds here. MarineKing steps his way forward with those 2-2 upgrades, starts to target down the siege tanks. FanTaSy may narrowly hold here, but he's taking a lot of losses right now.
It's looking really even if you look at supplies, but those upgrades, man, they're coming in huge for MarineKing right now. It's a ton of medevacs healing all of that as well. In the meantime, it looks like some auto turret harass back at the base of MarineKing, but look at this. On the high ground, all these Marines being taken down. The mules are dropped.
And this is what we were talking about. MarineKing might be able to do it. He has done it. And Prime, bringing their A-game today, is going to take a 2-0 lead now over SK Telecom. What a game. What a play here by MarineKing. Very unorthodox style, very old school, very MarineKing.
This 2-2 timing was just amazing. It was really well played, really well thought out by MarineKing. He knew he had to make something happen once that 2-2 finished, and he did find a way into the main base. And from here, all the SCVs are going down. There's just nothing he can do when he's camping the barracks like this.
Yeah, no way he's coming back. GG! Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Prime takes a 2-0 lead in very dominating fashion, might I add. And now we're going into game 3, where Classic has to play against Creator. And the matchup Creator seems to be much more better versed in. Oh my goodness.
Rain versus Salvation.
Oh, is that coming up next?
That's up next.
We got that
okay. I got too excited.
Hold your horses, Will.
I got too excited.
That's game 4. And Creator
God.
has a great chance of winning this for them. But Salvation could do it too, you know. We'll have to wait and see where Rain is at.
We saw Salvation take a really, really strong game as well, similar to Cassie, where he won in the early game and he just wasn't able to hold on for long enough. But he has the skill, he has the potential to possibly do it. I mean, Rain is an amazing opponent, but we said the same thing about Sue against Cassie. Could we see this, a 3-0 out of Prime? I feel like it could actually happen.
It could happen. You know, I was getting all excited because I thought it was the PvP, because we were talking about how MarineKing could secure that PvP. And it was actually, before that, Cassie who was able to secure that. Now MarineKing gets this 2-0 lead, so they have this extra cushion. to where, at the worst case scenario, Prime is going to an ace match.
Absolutely.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case. That's an amazing feeling. Some an amazing safety net to have for Prime.
Yeah. This is a crazy opening we've had. I am pretty stoked for this next game that we're going into here. We'll be on Frost, a big map. Salvation definitely showing some pretty decent play in the past. Rain obviously favored, but like you said before, Brendan, anything can happen. We saw already Cassia take a game. MarineKing beats FanTaSy, and it could go their way if Rain is feeling nervous here, feeling stressed out.
Yeah.